Brands Hatch GP circuit is awesome. One of my favorites of when I used to race in the UK. I used to race it in Formula 3, and obviously they used to have the Formula 1 back in the day. Much prefer this to the short circuit, which was just too short. But this has a great combination of corners and also a lot of undulation, so as you're breaking into turn 1, the track's falling away from you and it's hard to see the apex and when to get back to power. And it kind of fools you into either carrying too much speed in or getting to power too early, so that's such a tricky corner. And then you're going up into turn 2, then down into turn 3, so it's got a great combination, and the uphill and downhill really plays a role in how late you can brake or how early you have to brake. There are a couple of corners that it's all about the exit. I think it's probably around turn 4 or 5, which you're accelerating uphill, and it's all about making sure you carry speed down that straight. But it's got a great combination of fast-flowing corners, which I'm sure you're going to love, so make sure you enjoy it. Suzuka is one of my favorite circuits. They don't seem to make circuits like they used to do back in the day. This circuit is a figure of 8. It's the only figure of 8 circuit that I've ever experienced. I'm pretty sure probably one of the only ones. You're accelerating down the main straight, and it's downhill. Then you're coming through and up through the S's all the way up to turn 8, which is, for me, probably one of the hardest circuits because it's just a tap of the brakes and got to choose the right turning point. You're dipping at the apex and braking for turn 9. So we've got an incredible combination of corners, and it's quite high speed. There's only two slow speed corners on there. So I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. The racing there is definitely one of the best, and also one of the most challenging circuits because it's all about, particularly in that first sector, it's all about getting the flow of how much you push through the corner, how much you push, how much you keep the minimum speed up. So that's something I would just say, really focus on practicing, making sure you're hitting your apexes here, as it will enable you to get to full throttle quicker. Monza is known for being a very historic circuit, being that in the olden days they had the banked circuit, which is still there in the midst of the trees and everything. And the banking was incredible. I wish that we could still use that today. But the track that we get to race today is still pretty epic. It's unique in its own way, being that it's obviously shaped like a boot, and it's all long straights and very slow chicanes, and the small lesmos at the back. But it's a real great combination of corners, and it's very fast. So it's really all about the exits, the speed you carry into the corner, but mostly sacrificing a bit of the speed into the corner to make sure you get to full throttle sooner. The sooner you can get to full throttle, the speed that you carry down the straight pays dividends. And it's a heavy braking circuit as well, being that you're braking from high speed most of the time to almost a standstill in the chicanes. And you do need to be quite aggressive on some of the curbs here. And yeah, it's just really about trying to find that balance, as I said, between going too fast in or too slow out, or too slow in and fast out. But I love this track, and crazy enough, as I'm recording this, I'm about to go and race there this week, so I hope that you enjoy it. Interlagos is an incredible circuit, quite unique. It's an anti-clockwise circuit. Brazil's unique in the sense that, you know, you've got great colors there, it's got great culture, and when you're there, for example, you really do feel the atmosphere. But driving the track in itself, it's really about also getting the flow. It's quite a short circuit. They've got the long straight for the main start, which is great, driving up the hill, and then down and then up into turn 1. And you've got a very long steep turn 1, which is hard to get the right braking point and the right point in which you have to come off the brakes and get the right line to set you up into turn 2, so you can be full gas through 2 and 3. And then it's heavy braking into 4. Then you're braking up through turn 6 and 7, which takes you into 8, which takes you into a real tight complex of corners, a left-hander, a right-hander. And then again, another nice downhill into the last corner, which again is really super important that you don't brake too late in there so you can get a good exit. So it's a track that I have a lot of history on, and one that I really do love. And maybe some of you will remember the history we have there in 2008. So I hope that you enjoy it. This one's really just about, it's not so much really about braking, it's really just about the minimum speed you carry through the corners. The Nürburgring GP circuit is my second favorite in Germany. We also have the Hockenheim Grand Prix, but honestly, the Nürburgring circuit is just a little bit more fun. It's got more corners, it's longer, it's got a great combination of fast-flowing corners as well. And I love a track that has a lot of the undulation. So, you know, you're breaking down into turn 1, you're up into turn 2, you're down back into turn 3, and then when you go down to turn 6, you're downhill, then you're uphill up into 7 and 8. And this one's really about heavy braking. It's about you know, making sure you're getting those exits. The first corner is obviously, I think, quite tough, and but the minimum speed you carry through there and getting on the power up into 2 is probably one of the toughest parts of the circuit. Also, hugging the apex at turn 3, for example, is always quicker, and getting back to the left for the turn 4 so you can carry lots of speed through 4. I could keep going on, but I'm going to leave you to go and enjoy it. But this is a track that I really do love, and I've had some crazy experiences here where it rained when I was in Formula 3, but also when I was in Formula 1 in think it was 2007, 2008, where it rained heavily, and also I had a big crash here. So go and enjoy it, and make sure this is a track you just got to practice and practice and practice to get the right lines. The Nürburgring Nordschleife. This track is the longest track in the world and the toughest track in the world. So of all the tracks you're doing on this game, there's no way that you're going to have one that's even tougher than this one. Remembering each sector is really probably key. I've had the experience of driving there back in the day when I was in Formula 3. We were actually racing on the GP circuit, but in the evening I got to go and take my smart car around the track, which, as you can imagine, took forever. But really just remembering corner after corner after corner, because it's at least a 5-6 minute lap. For me, it was a lot longer than that in the smart car, but it's really just about trying to put those sectors together. So the way I'd practice is chop it up into 4-5 sections if you can. And it's really just about knowing the position that you need to have the car per corner, and repetition. Practice on this lap is definitely needed. So yeah, I just want to say have fun. I definitely love driving this track. As I said, it's my favorite. I hope it's the favorite for you.